Everybody, it's the Digital World Podcast. And I found this article on Zero Hedge, and the reason I want to talk about it, I'm probably not going to read it just because um it's very short, and it's just saying how different states either dropped in unemployment or other states increased in unemployment claims. But I thought it was interesting because it states that California had the biggest jump in Americans applying for first time unemployment benefits. And if we look at this chart, we see right here the weekly change in initial claims by state. California has the highest, and that is around 25,000, I believe. And it continues and talks about other statistics here. But the reason I wanted to talk about this was yesterday I did a video on how there are now 73 or 71 ships that are off the coast of Long Beach. Okay, and they're waiting to be unloaded. And during that time, uh, you know, you got to wonder how much product is on there. And due to that, you'll see it goes back to the basic supply and demand. The less supply there is, and the more demand there is, the prices are going to skyrocket. Now, these people in California who are seeing a dramatic increase in prices, and let's say that their job is not raising their wages accordingly, and so they're having to deal with all of this. And I'm wondering, especially with all these mandates that are being enforced and very, very harshly in California and New York. And so with all these mandates, if a lot of people are, either losing their jobs due to it, and they're going ahead and filing for unemployment, there's a lot of factors that are involved, but it makes you wonder, with everything that's happening in California, what can we expect? Because it's the beginning. If it's happening in New York and California, which is ahead of the curve, what can we expect for other states? Because it's like a slow. It starts slowly. Then before you know it, everyone's doing the same thing. And I hope that's not the case, but you gotta wonder. And here I'm trying to keep it, applying it just to the economic consequences, because if you start having a lot of people depend on the state, depend on the government to supply you with money in order to survive, what else are you willing to do? Because let me put it this way: when you become dependent on the state, and you now have everything from food to living to your basic necessities, if you're dependent on the state for all that, and you're willing to give up a little bit of your freedoms, your liberties, in order for basic safety and needs, what else will you be willing to give up? And that's why you got to really, really think about this, because a lot of what's happening right now, ever since this whole thing started, was everyone depended on the state for either stimulus checks or unemployment benefits. And now, if you equate that to a heroin addict, where once you start, and each time you need more and more and more to get a high, this is the same thing. This whole money that's being distributed to everyone, it's like an addiction, a heroin addiction. Once you start it, you can't pull back on it. And that has created a dependency on the state. And now, if you think about it, if you live in the city, which most of the masses do, okay? If you live in the city, even if you live in the suburbs, and you're close to the city, you're still, I mean, a lot of what you depend on is, well, I gotta go to the store there in the city. I gotta get all my stuff. You still depend on the system. Yeah, you may not be living in the city where it's crowded, but you still depend on the system. And that's why I've been trying to have people, if you're invested and you have, investments in digital assets, equities, whatever the case may be, or if you have a business, it's really important. And especially if you have a business, you realize what's taking place, the shortages. When you go to, if you own a restaurant, you understand the fragility right now. And it might be hard for you to get products for your restaurant. Look at all the ships. Over 70 ships are off the coast of Long Beach. So, what I'm trying to get at is, folks, this is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And that's why if you have investments, when they reach a point of euphoria, especially in the crypto space, take your profits. Okay? Because there's going to come a time where I do believe things are going to come way down, and we're going to go into one of the, this might even be worse than the Great Depression. And, the consensus is amongst economists, like George Gammon, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name right now. But a lot of these people, Mike Maloney, and we're talking about these, Peter Schiff, they know what's coming. Jeff Schneider, they know what's coming. So you guys prepare, and I'm trying to prepare and get the word out as along with these other people. Yeah, they may be more knowledgeable, but I believe that everyone has their part to do in this. And we got to wake up to this crisis that's at hand. It's happening right before our eyes. And what's happening in Southern California is a sign of things to come around the whole world. Because this isn't just affecting one country. It's affecting every country in the world. And they're going through the same issues. Some worse, others not as bad. But it's affecting everyone. There's going to come an ultimate point of where the system cracks. So, hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe, comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that this crisis is going to start sprinkling to every single state here in the United States, and we're going to be where Southern California is? Let me know in the comment section below. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.